All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Naresh Mago and with me is Sarabjit Kaur. The headlines. 8th International Day of Yoga being celebrated across the world today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi leads yoga celebration in Mysuru, Karnataka with thousands of people. Prime Minister says, Yoga is not for India alone, but for the entire humanity. Asserts, yoga is not merely for individuals, it brings peace to our universe. Home Minister Amit Shah says India is first in global digital transactions and accounts for 40% of total global digital payments in 2021. Bharatiya Janata Party wins 5 seats in Maharashtra Legislative Council elections. Ruling Mahavikas Aghadi wins 5 seats. Government amends guidelines for production-linked incentive PLI scheme for telecom and networking products. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla says comprehensive plan prepared to further improve rail facilities in the country. New air squadron created in Indian Coast Guard in Chennai. Pakistan releases 20 Indian fishermen through Atari Wagah border as goodwill gesture. 18-member Indian men's hockey squad for Commonwealth Games 2022 announced, and Indian junior women's hockey team draws match against the Netherlands in 5 Nations tournament in Ireland. As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events is being organized by the government as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as a Jan Utsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. Recalling our yesterday's question, in which year did the Battle of Aberdeen, an important chapter in India's indigenous resistance movement against the British, take place? The correct answer is 1859. AIR News got an overwhelming response from its listeners across the world, and the one lucky winner of the quiz is Aditi Pathak from Rohini, Delhi.
I'm extremely glad to be selected as the winner of this quiz contest. As India, the world's largest democracy, enters into the 75th year of its independence, it is a moment of immense pride and celebration for all of us. We all should not forget the sacrifices of our great leaders and should cherish and follow the ideals of our freedom struggle. I've been an ardent and regular listener of All India Radio since 2015 when I chanced upon the same morning news program. And since then, it is the only radio station I listen to, as the news bulletins are very crisp and holistically cover the wide range of topics. I wish all the listeners a very happy and healthy Yog Divas.
And now coming to our today's question, which is the 90th of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz in English. Name the journalist from Bihar who through his writings drew Mahatma Gandhi's attention to the distress of the indigo farmers of Champaran. Listeners can send their responses to the question over WhatsApp on 88265 or through email on amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in. One lucky participant will be selected as a winner and will be announced in tomorrow's morning news. The winner will be awarded a certificate and a token prize. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today led the 8th edition of International Day of Yoga in the heritage city of Mysuru in front of the iconic palace today. On the occasion, the Prime Minister said, Yoga is not for India alone, but for the entire humanity.
योग अब एक वैश्विक पर्व बन गया है. योग किसी व्यक्ति मात्र के लिए नहीं, संपूर्ण मानवता के लिए है. इसलिए इस बार अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस की थीम है योगा फॉर ह्यूमैनिटी. मैं इस थीम के जरिए योग के इस संदेश को पूरी मानवता तक पहुंचाने के लिए यूनाइटेड नेशंस का और सभी देशों का हृदय से धन्यवाद करता हूं.
He asserted that yoga is not merely for individuals, but it brings peace to our universe. Mr. Modi emphasized on the need to realize the unlimited possibilities of yoga. He pointed out that yoga is a process that leads one from inner peace to realize universal peace. Know thyself, our ancestors said, to know the universe, and yoga shows the way to do it.
योग वैश्विक सहयोग का पारस्परिक आधार बन रहा है। आज योग मानव मात्र को निरोग जीवन का विश्वास दे रहा है।
Yoga, he said, takes one from self to the self-consciousness of the world. Yoga is a great problem solver. It can change our lifestyle. Yoga helps us to orient our mind towards problem solving, be it climate change or international conflict.
Yoga makes us conscious of everything within us and builds a sense of awareness. It starts with self-awareness and proceeds to awareness of the world. When we become aware of ourselves and our world, we begin to spot things that need to be changed, both in ourselves and in the world.
The world has now realized the benefits of yoga as it has provided a window to the spiritual growth of mankind. He thanked the United Nations and other countries for participating in the International Day of Yoga. He called upon everyone to make yoga a way of life.
दुनिया के लोगों के लिए योग आज हमारे लिए केवल ये पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ नहीं है, बल्कि योग अब वे ऑफ लाइफ बन रहा है। हमारा दिन योग के साथ शुरू हो, इससे बेहतर शुरुआत क्या हो सकती है?
During the Yoga Day, around 15,000 yoga performers performed yogasanas along with the Prime Minister. More from our correspondent.
The heritage city Mysuru today woke up to the spirit and vitality of yoga. Prime Minister led the 8th edition of International Yoga Day at the iconic Mysuru Palace. Around 15,000 yoga enthusiasts participated in the event under dark cloud and cool pleasant breeze. Before the yoga performances conveyed the message of yoga for humanity, the Prime Minister participated in the yoga performance. He later inaugurated digital and static exhibition on yoga. The exhibition showcases latest yoga techniques in virtual reality, evolution of yoga and psychological profiling that suits yoga asanas. There are 146 stalls in the static exhibition. Many startups have put up their products aiding yoga in the exhibition. With TV Nanjundaswamy, this is Sudhindra for AIR News in Mysuru.
President Ramnath Kovind participated in the International Day of Yoga celebrations at Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi this morning. In a tweet, the President greeted the people on the occasion and said, "Yoga is a part of ancient Indian heritage and India's gift to humanity." Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today urged people to make yoga as part of their routine as it helps bringing peace and calm and helps all-round development of individuals. Speaking at the event organized on the International Yoga Day at the parade grounds in Sikandarabad, he said only peace will bring development and yoga is the main path to achieve the same.
It has been a great gift given by our forefathers to the humanity, and we, the present generation, must follow the tradition and continue it in our life.
Union Culture and Tourism Minister G. Kishan Reddy, several public representatives, badminton star P.V. Sindhu and several eminent personalities participated in the event.
Thousands of people in Tamil Nadu are joining the millions of people in the whole country and the world in celebrating the International Day of Yoga since this morning. Yoga celebrations are underway in hundreds of towns and villages in the state. A report.
The International Day of Yoga has mobilized thousands of enthusiastic youth and old alike in several places since this dawn. The oldest art of yoga is being celebrated in front of one of the oldest temples, the Shore Temple at Mahabalipuram, led by the Minister of State for Social Justice and Empowerment, Narayanaswamy. At the Vivekananda Rock Memorial in Kanyakumari, Minister of State for Culture Meenakshi Lekhi is leading the celebrations, while Minister of State for Education Annapurna Devi is leading it in the Brihadiswara Temple in Tanjavur. Several educational institutions, youth groups and yoga training centers have also organized the celebrations. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
In Kerala, Union Minister of State for External Affairs, V. Muralidharan, led the Yoga Day celebrations in Thiruvananthapuram. It was organized at the east entrance of Sri Padmanabha Swamy Temple. In Puducherry, International Yoga Day was celebrated at 75 locations with thousands of participants. Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry, Dr. Tamilisai Soundarajan, and Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting, Dr. L. Murugan, participated in the International Yoga Day celebrations organized by the Ministry of Information, Broadcasting and the Government of Puducherry at the Scenic Promenade Beach in Puducherry. In Jharkhand, the Yoga Day was celebrated in Ulihatu village, the birthplace of tribal leader Bhagwan Birsa Munda in Kunti district. Union Minister for Tribal Affairs Arjun Munda practiced yoga along with thousands of people. Addressing the gathering on the occasion, the minister said that India has bestowed the world with the gift of staying healthy through yoga. In Himachal Pradesh, the International Yoga Day was celebrated at Kangra Fort, Parashar Lake, Katoch Palace and Atal Tunnel today. All four places are among the 75 iconic heritage sites of the country. Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports and Information and Broadcasting Anurag Singh Thakur led the celebration at Katoch Palace, Sujanpur in Hamirpur district. Union Minister for Education, Skill Development and Entrepreneurship Dharmendra Pradhan participated in the program at Kangra Fort in the Kangra district. While Pankaj Chaudhary, Union Minister of State for Finance, led the celebrations at Parashar Lake in Mandi district. Union Minister of State for Youth Affairs and Sports Nishit Pramanik led the yoga function at the Atal Tunnel built under Rohtang Pass in the eastern Pir Panjal range of the Himalayas on the Leh-Manali highway in Himachal Pradesh. Army, ITBP, NDRF, Atal Bihari Mountaineering Institute, Border Road Organization have also participated in this program. Chief Minister Jairam Thakur led the event at the historic Ridge Maidan in Shimla. In Gujarat, Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel led the state-run International Yoga Day celebrations at the Sabarmati riverfront in Ahmedabad this morning. In Uttar Pradesh, lakhs of youth, senior citizens, children and general public, along with ministers and government officials, participated in yoga practice. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, along with ministers and nodal officers, took part in the International Yoga Day events at more than 75,000 venues across the state today. We have a report from our Lucknow correspondent.
For the first time, Grand Yoga session was organized on the banks of Holy Saryu River in Ayodhya. Union Minister Bhupendra Yadav, along with MPs, MLAs and people of Ayodhya practiced yoga at Ram Ki Padi. On the tunes of Ram Dhun, more than 5,000 people practiced yoga at the ghats of Saryu. In Prime Minister's constituency Varanasi, Yoga Day was celebrated in unique manner. 75 boats created the sign of number 75 on the banks of Ganga River and people practiced yoga there. A special yoga session was held at heritage site Sarnath. In neighboring district Jaunpur, yoga session was organized at Jaunpur Fort, where Union Minister Anupriya Patel participated in the yoga program. Governor of State Anandiben Patel, along with Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, participated in yoga session organized at Governor House in state capital. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman led the Yoga Day celebrations at Jantar Mantar in New Delhi. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar practiced yoga at Purana Kila. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia took part in the celebrations at the Tyagaraja Stadium.
In China, the Indian Consulate in Guangzhou joined the Guardian Ring for Yoga to celebrate the 8th International Day of Yoga. Consul General of India in Guangzhou, Shambhu Haki, and hundreds of yoga enthusiasts joined the event. The Indian Consulate in Shanghai also organized a yoga event today in Yiwu, Zhejiang Province, with more to follow. A report from a Beijing correspondent.
Indian Consulate in Guangzhou organized International Day of Yoga celebrations at Haishang Pearl Wisdom Park, located at the foot of Luoxi Bridge at the south bank of the Pearl River. The yoga protocol was conducted by Iyengar Yogshala to hundreds of yoga lovers from different nationalities who gathered near the iconic Pearl Tower to inhabit the common consciousness of yoga. Indian Embassy has already held a grand yoga event in Beijing on Saturday, which was joined virtually by the consulates in Guangzhou, Shanghai and Hong Kong. In the run-up to this day, the embassy and various Indian consulates in China have held many yoga events. To celebrate the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, more than 75 yoga schools across China besides Indian consulates were also connected online to the Saturday's event at the India House in Beijing. Anshuma Mishra, All India Radio, Beijing.
The Prime Minister's Award for Outstanding Contribution for Promotion of Yoga has been announced for the year 2021. Bhikkhu Sanghasena from Ladakh, Marcus Vinicius Rojo Rodriguez from Brazil, and two organizations, the Divine Life Society from Uttarakhand and the British Wheel of Yoga from the United Kingdom, have been chosen for the award. The Ayush Ministry said the winners will be felicitated with a trophy, a certificate and a cash award of 25 lakh rupees.
The Indian Army has issued notification for the recruitment for Agniveers under the newly launched Agnipath scheme. Registrations will open from July onwards by the respective Army recruitment officers for various trades. Registrations can be done through Indian Army's website joinindianarmy.nic.in. In the notification, the Indian Army said personnel enrolled through the Agniveer scheme will be required to undergo periodical medical checkups and physical, written and field tests. Union Home Minister Amit Shah said that transactions through Unified Payment Interface UPI have crossed $1 trillion mark in the financial year 2022, and today India is first in global digital transactions. He said India accounted for 40% of the total global digital payments in 2021, and Bheem UPI are no longer just an Indian app but have become global. You're listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. 8th International Day of Yoga being celebrated across the world today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi leads yoga celebrations in Mysuru, Karnataka with thousands of people. Prime Minister says yoga is not for India alone but for the entire humanity. Asserts yoga is not merely for individuals, it brings peace to our universe. Home Minister Amit Shah says India is first in global digital transactions and accounts for 40% of total global digital payments in 2021. Bharatiya Janata Party wins 5 seats in Maharashtra Legislative Council elections. Ruling Maha Vikas Aghadi wins 5 seats. Government amends guidelines for production-linked incentive PLI scheme for telecom and networking products. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla says comprehensive plan prepared to further improve rail facilities in the country. New air squadron created in Indian Coast Guard in Chennai. Pakistan releases 20 Indian fishermen through Atari-Wagah border as goodwill gesture. 18-member Indian men's hockey squad for Commonwealth Games 2022 announced, and Indian junior women's hockey team draws match against the Netherlands in 5 Nations tournament in Ireland. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। इस बार का विषय है इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी और सवाल भेजने की अंतिम तारीख है 22 जून। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
The Bharatiya Janata Party has bagged 5 seats in the Maharashtra Legislative Council elections which were held yesterday. The Nationalist Congress Party and Shiv Sena won 2 seats each, while Congress was able to manage only 1 seat out of the total 10 seats. As many as 11 candidates were in the fray for the election to the 10 seats in the MLC. The guidelines for the Production-Linked Incentive PLI scheme for telecom and networking products have been amended to introduce the design-led manufacturing with additional incentive rates. The PLI scheme has been amended to facilitate design-led manufacturing with additional incentive rate of 1% over and above the existing incentive rates. The Communications Ministry said in a release that this was done after consultations with the stakeholders. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla said that a comprehensive plan has been prepared to further improve rail facilities in the country. He said that under the guidance of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, unprecedented work is being done to increase rail connectivity under the Gati Shakti Yojana. Mr. Birla was speaking on the occasion of laying the foundation stone of development works at 10 stations of the Kota Bundi parliamentary constituency, including Ramganj Mandi in Rajasthan yesterday.
In the Indian Coast Guard, a new air squadron was created in Chennai yesterday by the name 840 Squadron, initially with an advanced light helicopter Mark III aircraft. The aircraft was received with the traditional water cannon salute in presence of Inspector General A.P. Badola, commander of the Eastern Coast Guard region. This is the first such aircraft to be positioned by the Defence Force in the Eastern region. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, one terrorist was gunned down this morning by security forces at village Tulibal in Sopore area of North Kashmir's Baramulla district. The ongoing encounter broke out between security forces and terrorists in the last night yesterday. The identity of the slain terrorist is being ascertained. Meanwhile, another gunfight between terrorists and security forces in Tujan area of Pulwama district was going on till the reports last came in. Further details are awaited.
And now, let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
Will you kindly now listen? I am talking to you from a great distance, and my voice is slightly spoilt by the very good but not yet perfect instrument through which I am speaking. So you may not guess who I am. I am Rajagopalachari, and I am speaking from Madras All India Radio Broadcasting Station.
On the 21st of June in 1948, Chakravarti Rajagopalachari was appointed the last Governor-General of India. During the tumultuous period of transfer of power in 1947, the then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru decided to retain the outgoing Governor-General Mountbatten in the same position in the independent India to maintain continuity and lend stability.
When Mountbatten left by June 1948, nearly 1 year after independence, Chakravarti Rajagopalachari was appointed the last Governor-General of India on 21st of June 1948. He remained at this position till Rajendra Prasad was elected as the President of the Republic of India on 26th of January 1950.
We remember freedom fighter Tiku Ram, who was a resident of Sikar, Rajasthan. Tiku was a part of a gathering of Kisan agitators on the 21st of June 1934 to demonstrate against the increased land tax and its forcible collection by the British government. Hearing the news of this Kisan gathering, a senior police officer reached there with his force and ordered for lathi charge first and then for opening fire on the agitators. Many people, including Tiku, received serious gunshot wounds in the firing, and Tiku died on the same day. AIR News salutes the brave martyr.
We also remember martyr Nawab Qadir Ali Khan. Qadir Ali was an eminent Amir of Nagpur. He took a leading part in the First War of Independence in 1857. Qadir Ali organized the rebels of his region, provided financial support to them, and led them in attacking the British establishments at several places.
He was caught by the company troops during their attack on the rebels and charged with treason and rebellion. He was sentenced to death and was executed by hanging on the 21st of June, 1862. AIR News salutes the brave son of the soil.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In Bihar, the East Central Railways has taken a decision to resume long-distance trains from today in its jurisdiction. Railways resumed the operation of Rajendra Nagar Terminal New Delhi Tejas Express and Rajendra Nagar Terminal New Delhi Sampurna Kranti Express, giving huge relief to those passengers who have been stranded in Patna following cancellation of Delhi-bound passenger trains since June the 17th due to protests against the Agnipath scheme.
The first tranche of Sovereign Gold Bond SGB scheme for the current fiscal opened for subscription yesterday. The SGB scheme 2022-23 Series 1 will remain open till Friday, that is the 24th of this month. The issue price has been fixed at 5,091 rupees per gram of gold. Investors who apply online will get a discount of 50 rupees per gram. So for online investors, the issue price will be 5,041 rupees per gram. The date of issuance is the 28th of this month. Pakistan has released 20 Indian fishermen through the Atari-Wagah border as a goodwill gesture. The fishermen who had entered the Pakistani waters unknowingly were released after spending 4 years in prison. The fishermen who were released are the two natives of Gujarat who were caught in different groups on different dates, following which a judicial trial took place and they were sentenced to 4 years in prison. Hockey India announced the 18-member Indian men's hockey squad for Commonwealth Games 2022 yesterday. Commonwealth Games are scheduled to begin on 29 July in Birmingham. India are in Pool B with England, Canada, Wales and Ghana. India began their campaign on 31st July against Ghana. Manpreet Singh, who led the Indian team to a historic bronze medal at the Olympic Games in Tokyo last year, will lead the team in Commonwealth Games 2022. Indian junior women's hockey team held a gritty Netherlands to a 2-all draw in the second contest of the Unifer U235 Nations Tournament in Dublin, Ireland yesterday. Anu and Beauty Dungdung scored 1 goal each for India, while Brewer Amber and Vanderbroek Bellen were on target for the Dutch team. The Indian junior women's hockey team take on Ukraine in their third match of the tournament tomorrow.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Newspapers have prominently covered the International Day of Yoga. A picture on the cover of the Pioneer shows Army, ITBP and NCC personnel performing yoga asanas at Gangotri. India Inc. bullish on Agnipath, vows to hire soldiers in 4 years, headlines the Business Standard. The Indian Express writes, Agnipath, a pilot, tweaks if needed after 4 to 5 years, says Army Vice Chief. A headline in the Tribune says, tourists at Timber Trail rescued after 6 hours, 11 on board, cable car struck midway on Parvanu ropeway. The Hindu writes, BJP trumps MVA in council election, party wins 5 of 10 seats. And finally, at 105 years, Super Grandma sprints to new 100-meter record. Under that headline, the Times of India reports that Rambai won a golden double at the inaugural National Open Masters Athletics Championships, clocking 45.40 seconds in the 100-meter event.
Before we end the bulletin, a reminder of today's question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. Name the journalist from Bihar who, through his writings, drew Mahatma Gandhi's attention to the distress of the indigo farmers of Champaran. WhatsApp your response on 8826546262. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. 8th International Day of Yoga being celebrated across the world today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi leads yoga celebrations in Mysuru, Karnataka with thousands of people. Prime Minister says yoga is not for India alone but for the entire humanity. Asserts yoga is not merely for individuals, it brings peace to our universe. Home Minister Amit Shah says India is first in global digital transactions and accounts for 40% of total global digital payments in 2021. Bharatiya Janata Party wins 5 seats in Maharashtra Legislative Council elections. Ruling Mahavikas Aghadi wins 5 seats. Government amends guidelines for production-linked incentive scheme for telecom and networking products. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla says comprehensive plan prepared to further improve rail facilities in the country. New air squadron created in Indian Coast Guard in Chennai. Pakistan releases 20 Indian fishermen through Atari-Wagah border as goodwill gesture. 18-member Indian men's hockey squad for Commonwealth Games 2022 announced. An Indian junior women's hockey team draws match against the Netherlands in 5-nation tournament in Ireland. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.